Hey, welcome back. Today, we're going on a journey that's measured in gigahertz and nanometers. We're going to chart the incredible evolution of computer hardware. It's really the story of how we managed to shrink these massive, room-sized calculators into the little pocket-sized oracles that have completely reshaped our world. So how in the world did we get here? Well, let's dive in.
We live in an age that would be just, indistinguishable from magic to our ancestors. Seriously. We can have conversations with digital minds that learn and adapt. We can hold basically the sum of all human knowledge in the palm of our hand. And we can build entire virtual worlds from nothing but code. But this amazing power, it didn't just appear out of thin air. Nope. It was built, piece by tiny piece, on a foundation of some truly radical ideas.
And that right there is the big question we're exploring today. We're going to trace that direct line from the very first clunky mechanical calculators all the way to the silent, intelligent hardware that powers pretty much everything in our lives. It is a story just defined by these insane, exponential leaps in innovation. So, to really get this story, first we're going to uncover the fundamental blueprint that all computers, past and present, follow. Then, we'll watch the first revolutions unfold, from those clunky gears to lightning-fast gigahertz. We'll see how that revolution finally landed on our own desktops, creating this explosion of data that needed a home. And finally, we'll peek into the crystal ball and see what's next for tomorrow's hardware. Okay, so before we jump into the history, we have to understand the fundamental DNA of any computer. I mean it, whether it's powered by steam or by silicon, every single computing device in history performs the exact same 4 basic functions.
Let's make this super simple. Just think about sending an email. Your input, that's you typing the message and hitting send. The computer then processes that information, right? It converts your text into digital data, figures out where it needs to go. The output is the message popping up on your friend's screen. And along the way, that message is temporarily stored in various kinds of memory. Input, process, output, store. That's it.
This simple blueprint, input, process, output, and store, is the timeless engine of all computing. It's like the one universal constant in a world that is otherwise just chaotic, high-speed change. Every single innovation we're about to talk about is really just a faster or a smaller or a more intelligent way of performing these 4 steps. So, with that blueprint in mind, let's start our journey. The first revolutions in computing weren't powered by electricity at all. They were powered by the clever arrangement of gears and levers, which really laid the groundwork for absolutely everything that was to come. After thousands of years of simple mechanical tools, the 1940s brought us these behemoths like ENIAC. It was a giant. It filled an entire room with thousands of glowing, hot, and frankly, super unreliable vacuum tubes that were acting as switches. But the real game changer came in 1947, the transistor. It did the exact same job as a vacuum tube, but it was tiny, it was solid, and it used a fraction of the power. This leap, from glass tubes to solid-state switches, was the key that unlocked miniaturization. And that led directly to the 1970s. And the invention that changed everything, the microprocessor. An entire computer brain, a whole CPU crammed onto a single tiny chip of silicon. And that one invention, the microprocessor, it was the catalyst for the single biggest shift in the history of computing. It was the spark that ignited the personal revolution, taking computing power away from these elite institutions and putting it directly into the hands of ordinary people just like you and me. See, before this, a computer's brain was this really complex assembly of all these separate parts. But by putting all of them onto a single chip, the microprocessor made computers exponentially smaller, cheaper, and way more accessible. It was, and this is no exaggeration, the engine that drove the personal computer from being a hobbyist dream to a household appliance. The microprocessor didn't just lead to PCs. It kicked off this massive domino effect. These newly accessible machines completely transformed industries through automation. And this powerful new hardware, it created a blank canvas for a new generation of software developers to paint on, creating everything from spreadsheets to video games. Ultimately, by connecting all these personal computers together, we completely rewired our world and revolutionized how we all communicate. But all this newfound processing power in the hands of millions of people, well, it created an entirely new problem, a total avalanche of digital information. Every document, every picture, every program, it all needed a place to live. So the next great challenge was, where do we put it all? In the early days, our storage was physical and clunky. I mean,
Remember that satisfying click and whir of a floppy disk? Or the hum of a CD-ROM drive? Access was slow, and the capacity was just tiny. Today, we live in a world of instant, silent storage. Solid-state drives, or SSDs. They access data electronically with no moving parts. And then there's cloud storage, which gives us access to what feels like infinite space from anywhere with a connection.
And the crucial point here is that incredible leap in speed. An old hard drive basically worked like a tiny record player with a physical arm moving around to find the data. An SSD? No moving parts. It accesses data at the speed of electricity. This wasn't just a small improvement. It fundamentally changed our expectation of how technology should feel, and it turned wait times from minutes into milliseconds. This relentless pace of innovation isn't slowing down, not one bit. So where is it all heading? Well, the hardware that's being developed right now points toward a future that is way more intelligent, more sustainable, and fundamentally more secure. So first up, we're moving past the era of the one-size-fits-all processor. The new frontier is specialized hardware, chips that are designed specifically to accelerate the unique demands of artificial intelligence. These chips are built to process massive amounts of data in parallel, in a way that's actually a lot closer to how a human brain works. At the same time, you've got billions of devices and these massive data centers that are consuming enormous amounts of power. So there's this growing awareness of technology's environmental footprint. The future of hardware isn't just about being faster anymore. It's also about being smarter and more efficient, focusing on eco-friendly materials and designs that deliver more performance per watt of energy. And finally, security. As our lives move deeper and deeper into the digital realm, protecting our data is just paramount. And the future of that protection is being built directly into the silicon itself. This ranges from advanced biometric sensors to research into quantum cryptography, which uses quantum mechanics to create communication channels that are, in theory, completely unhackable. Think of it like sending a message in a box that literally self-destructs if anyone but the intended recipient tries to open it. So, we've traveled from mechanical gears to intelligent silicon, from room-sized calculators to a planet-spanning network. At every single step, we design machines to solve our problems and to extend our reach. But that journey leaves us with one final fascinating question. After all this time we've spent designing our hardware, how is that hardware now redesigning us?